Welcome back to NFL Imperialism, a series where I spin for team selection and direction, letting the NFL teams attack and expand until only one team remains standing. The only problem is that all the players you may love are being displaced in an NFL fantasy draft. So I've loaded up a fantasy draft and NFL franchise. Let's introduce our star players to their new homes. With the first overall pick today, the Minnesota Vikings are selecting Patrick Mahomes, which they desperately needed this because they've been historically bad in this series. Second overall goes to the Buffalo Bills. Looks like having a star quarterback's not going anywhere. They're just going from Josh Allen to Lamar Jackson. As for the Niners in the third overall position, they're just upgrading their quarterback to be even better as they'll get Joe Burrow. And fourth overall, the Tennessee Titans will pick up Josh Allen. And for the fifth overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Tua Tagovailoa. At this point, concussed Tua is better than Dak Prescott. Now, let me remind you of some key rules before I go any further in the draft. As always, the winning team in a head-to-head matchup steals a player from the losing side. In the event of an expansion to an unclaimed state, that said team is rewarded with a player from the free agent pool, which is the best player not in a roster or a player on a previously eliminated squad. No quarterback swaps allowed today, which means the quarterback your team drafted is the quarterback you must endure for the remaining of this video. Speaking of quarterbacks, 6th overall is going to be Justin Herbert going to the Philadelphia Eagles, whereas Brock Purdy cannot escape the heat as he's going to the Miami Dolphins with the 7th overall pick. 8th overall to the Green Bay Packers is going to be Jalen Hurts, who's essentially just a glorified Malik Willis, and I'm kind of questioning Seattle's front office, but they're going to take Dak Prescott with the 9th overall pick. And with the 10th overall pick, this is our first non-quarterback selected. It's going to be Sauce Gardner going to the Carolina Panthers. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about what power-ups we have in play today. We have the traditional ones: Afterlife, Clone, Double Trouble Bandit, Blitz, Prisoner of War, and Juiced. So now let's continue introducing the first round, but while so, I need to talk about a glaring issue. You see, you have been clickbaited. This is not a full NFL reset video, but hear me out here. Madden, for whatever reason, has a salary cap when editing the rosters in offline play, which means I am limited with what players and how many players go to specific teams based on the amount of cap space they have. It's part of the reason why this video has been shelved for so long, but in order to make it possible, I had to make some sacrifices. The only players that are being reset and going to new teams are quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and defensive superstars and X Factors. Offensive line, kickers, all players not highly rated or as well known will have to stay with their current squads. I'm sorry, this does kind of suck, but as they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is more of a Madden issue than me. But anyways, we made it to the 31st overall pick. Let's just see the LA Chargers draft. And Cooper Kupp is going to the LA Chargers. Now, I figured I might as well show you guys the best teams we have today. Who drafted the best? We're starting the Indianapolis Colts with a very high-flying offense. Kyler Murray at quarterback, Saquon Barkley at running back, CeeDee Lamb at receiver, and David Njoku at tight end. This is probably the best offensive quartet today with these four players. Now, I would not be sleeping on the Atlanta Falcons offense. We have Jaden Daniels, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown, and Noah Fant. It is important to mention that pre-existing injury does not exist today, as it was the only way this video could have been possible to make these new rosters. Now let's take a look at this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They have Aaron Jones at running back, Amon-Ra St. Brown as receiver, and George Kittle at tight end. All they need now is a comparable quarterback leading the command. Well, there's always next episode. Now for some defenses, we have a little bit of a flash from the 85 Bears with this defensive trio: Josh Hines-Allen, Dexter Lawrence II, who leads the NFL in sacks right now, and then Darius Slay Jr. This is really solid for Chicago. The Lions also have a pretty good defense today: Jalen Ramsey, Justin Simmons, and Budda Baker. Very scary secondary. And another NFC North team with a solid defense. The Green Bay Packers got Chris Jones, Jesse Bates, and Khalil Mack. Now, I'm not going to go through every single team, but if you're interested in doing that yourself, I'm going to leave all players on their new teams in the description if you want to see it before we start playing the games, which we're about to do right now. Well, that's after we place our power-ups on the map. However, we'll start with Afterlife. 26 possible unclaimed states it can land on, which is going to New Mexico. Next one up will be Blitz, which is going to Kansas. And then we'll land on Double Trouble, which will be going to the state of South Carolina. Next placement will be the Clone power-up. That will be going to Vermont. Next up will be Prisoner of War, landing on the state of North Dakota. And then we'll get Bandit. That lands on Alabama, which finally leaves us with just Juice, which will be going to the state of West Virginia. So now we can begin turn number 1. Go ahead and lock in your winner right now and go ahead and pick somebody you would never expect to win, because every team looks completely different here in NFL Reset Imperialism. Oh my goodness, does this dude ever shut up? Okay, for real, one more thing. This is the Imperialism leaderboards, which you'll see at the very end of this episode. How do they work? They work on a metric called Imperialism points. I keep track of stats with these 5 categories through every single team and how they perform through every single single episode in this series. At the bottom is an example of how it'll look on the leaderboards at the end of today's episode. Now let's finally get the ball rolling with turn number 1. And so turn number 1 begins, and I'm definitely going to forget who's on every team, including the Tennessee Titans. But all I know is that this Tennessee Titans is probably better than the current one in real life as they're going down south. Well, what an interesting way to begin this episode. We're already having a power-up claimed. It's going to be Bandit. Now, the team that gets the Bandit power-up gets to steal 2 players from 2 randomly selected teams on a wheel. Well, I'm glad to see the Titans are wasting absolutely no time as they'll get to steal 2 players, 1 per each team that we land on. Starting from the first team, they're stealing a player from the LA Chargers. Well, there goes the Chargers' chances in this video. They just lost Nick Chubb. And the next team to lose a player will be the New York Jets. So Max Crosby, who was on the Jets, now is going to Tennessee. And then for the free agent pickup or expanding, it's going to be Micah Hyde. What a turn by the Tennessee Titans. That was the best thing to happen to them all year. Here's the Raiders. Could see another expansion, or will they attack out west? Let's see. And for the second straight episode, the Rams will have to play in the very first game in jeopardy of losing for the very first game again. It's going to be the Raiders traveling to SoFi Stadium. Well, I instantly feel bad for the Raiders because Geno Smith is at quarterback for them, but maybe he can get a touchdown here to tie this game up at SoFi. What a fight for that first down. Third down to 9. Geno Smith drops up for rush for the Rams in the end zone. It's going to be dropped. 4th and 9 upcoming. This Rams defense is pretty solid. Kyle Hamilton just made that stop. Here's the 4th down. This one's the touchdown. Extra point would tie the game. And out comes Russell Wilson, the quarterback of the LA Rams. Now, interestingly enough, the Rams did redraft Kyron Williams to their team. Doesn't look too much different than it currently is in real life. Here's the catch made. 2nd and inches. I don't know who that is. Looks like that was Amari Cooper passing again. Russell Wilson. Great completion. The 2-2 Atwell, who remains on the Rams, gets it to the 44. Raiders, can they force a stop? 3rd and 4. Russell Wilson doing what he does best. He scrambles. 1st and 10 to the 24. I guess you could say that's vintage Russell Wilson, and that's the reason why the Rams will be getting the first win today in Reset Imperialism, beating the Raiders 27-24. You know, I think the Raiders went wrong when they decided to waste their first round pick on Marshawn Lattimore. He's not bad, but seriously, first round pick on them? You deserve to lose. I'm not joking when I say this. He was drafted before Christian McCaffrey. Well, it's good to see the Rams win their very first game they played this time. As for the Raiders, I feel like you guys would have done better with your actual roster. Okay, that might be taking it too far. And we begin turn number 2, which we will have the Dallas Cowboys. All I remember about them is that Tua is their quarterback and they're going towards the northwest. Well, 2 turns down, 2 power-ups down. That was quick. Here's Afterlife. I mean, kind of fitting that Tua gets this power-up. After all, he's already used up like 5 Afterlives in real life. Now the Afterlife power-up is going into effect and this team will get a second life. And this is kind of cursed because Devontae Smith, who was the best player on the Raiders, now going to the Cowboys through the free agent pool. So 2 power-ups already. A little deja vu from last episode. Here's the New England Patriots. And they have a chance for a power-up as well if they go up to Vermont, which is not going to happen. But they will take some land next door in New Hampshire. And I guess let's keep on dismantling the Raiders roster. Christian Wilkins is going to the Patriots. Getting all our expansions out early, I see. Here's the Arizona Cardinals. Don't know if they can run away without a fight this time. They are going towards the right. And by doing so, this is the earliest we've ever seen the Afterlife in play. If the Cardinals win, they don't get anything other than a player. The Cowboys have 2 lives. Well, out comes the Arizona Cardinals with Jared Goff at quarterback, down by a touchdown. But more importantly, who's that receiver for the Cardinals? It's Justin Jefferson, their first round pick, but that's not even him right there. That's a completion to the 40, 2-minute warning. That's going to be who got replaced, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'd say that's a solid way to start this drive. Jared Goff, this one goes to Justin Jefferson, first down. Down the 45 seconds, it's important we send this game to overtime. This is going to be a touchdown back of the end zone, so the extra point ties it at 17. But now Tua comes back on the field with 40 seconds and 3 timeouts to win this game. Starting from his own 31-yard line, that's a catch made, and that's a first down. Spin move to the 49, timeout called. And perfectly enough, I think that's Devontae Smith, who they literally just picked up not long ago. Here's another catch, another first down. They're going to be around the 40-yard line. And so this is where Brandon Audrey-Matic will take the kick. I imagine it's a little over 50 yards, but like I said, automatic from this range normally, and he drills it through. And there will be no response by the Cardinals. The Cowboys will win 20-17. They don't even need the Afterlife power up here. So I think it's safe to say that the Cowboys are our first true threat today, as Justin Jefferson is now leading the wide receiver room with Devontae Smith and Tyler Lockett as well. And so the West Coast continues to kill each other like it's the 1990s rap game. The Cowboys are going to Arizona. Well, let's see if we can keep the trend going for turn number 3. Another power-up maybe? It's a chance actually. There is a power-up in the state of Kansas, so if Kansas City goes left, they're not. Instead, they disobey my commands and go right into the arms of the Chicago Bears. Remember what I said in the intro, this team has a lethal defense, and there's no Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City offense. I guess my theory was correct. However, at quarterback for the Chiefs is Kirk Cousins, so at least they are competitive, and look at this run to the 22 by Elijah Mitchell. On the other side of the ball, however, for the Chicago Bears, their quarterback is Bryce Young. It's funny. Even in a reset, they still cannot find their franchise quarterback. Kirk Cousins the pass from the 22 after that great run by Elijah Mitchell. Here's a catch made. That's going to be around midfield to the 44. That was Jalen Waddle on the catch. Now with 45 seconds remaining in this game, another catch by Jalen Waddle. How far can he run? To the 17. He also gets out of bounds, so it's a free timeout for Kansas City. This one's a zig route. Again, the Jalen Waddle, but that's going to be stopped in bounds. 3 straight catches for Waddle. No timeouts left for the Chiefs, and almost pick 6. That definitely would have been returned to the house. Got to be careful. This is going to be a catch made to around the 3-yard line, but time is rolling. I think this is the final play. Do they get the snap off? Yes. 3 seconds. Can the Bears make a goal line stop? Wide open in the back corner of the end zone. Zeros on the board. The Chiefs will steal it. And Marquise Brown, who's staying with the Kansas City Chiefs, was left completely unintended, and that's how this game will fold. And even without Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs somehow still get it done. I wonder if the refs were still on their side in this one. Well, so much for that oh-so-scary Chicago Bears defense I did all that hyping up for. Dexter Lawrence is now joining the Chiefs. You know, this was the one episode the Bears could finally capitalize with a win against the Chiefs, but they still couldn't get it done. Only in Chicago. I think I speak for the people. The last thing I want to see is a Chiefs run today. Niners as well. Can't believe I'm saying this, but the Niners could probably use an expansion here. They might get it. And you know what? Sometimes arrows like this are the differences in imperialisms, because the Niners barely escape the Rams. They will get the expansion to Oregon. And so with other teams starting to drop, so are their players. Josh Hines-Allen in the free agent pool going to the Niners. So we will continue with the Indianapolis Colts. Now here's a team I would be scared of if you share a border with them, and they're going towards the Northwest. Okay, back-to-back games for the Kansas City Chiefs. This time it's the real test. However, it is a home game for the Indianapolis Colts to be traveling on the road. Yeah, we got ourselves a game here in Kansas City. 2nd and 10 for Kirk Cousins. Look out, he's going down. Loss of 2 yards. It's going to be a 3rd and 12. Indianapolis better be triple teaming Jalen Waddle right here. 3rd and 12. It's a short pass. It's only going to pick up 4 yards. 4th and 8. And Kansas City is keeping offense on the field. If they get it, it's probably the best gamble we'll ever see. Kirk Cousins, incomplete. Colts take over on downs. Out comes the Colts offense. All they need is a first down. CeeDee Lamb with 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kansas City's got to prevent Saquon Barkley from picking up 6 yards. Here's the handoff. Solid blocks. First down, Colts. And I knew these Colts were gonna be a problem. They'll escape with a victory in Kansas City, winning 32-31. But they're about to become an even bigger problem because they're adding Myles Garrett at right end. And well, there's always a bigger fish. The Bears couldn't get it done, but at least the Indianapolis Colts can. Now to turn number 5, which we'll pick up with the LA Chargers. Expansion is not a possibility. It's either the Rams or the Cowboys. It's the Rams. Well, just like Kansas City, the Rams are already playing a second game. Maybe they can actually win it this time, unlike the Chiefs. Well, this is supposed to be a Rams home game, but knowing both these fan bases, we'll just call it a neutral site game. Somehow breaking 3 tackles for the first down to the 41. I don't know who that is. That was Hayden-Hurst on the catch, but even worse of a story, Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback for the LA Chargers. Oh, and even worser of a story, they already lost Nick Chubb because of the bandit power-up. Here goes Gardner Minshew on the run. Okay, hold up, let him cook. They need the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. Handoff. That's going to be a fumble on the ground picked up by the Rams. I'd like to imagine if Nick Chubb was still with the Chargers, that wouldn't have happened. It is going to booth review, and honestly, it does look like Gus Edwards was down by contact. Under a minute and 30 seconds, 2nd and 10. Gardner Minshew barely gets the check down off, but it's going to pick up a first down. Now a minute and 20. Another catch. Cooper Kupp on the wrong LA side of the football has a first down. With under 20 seconds left, we need to see Gardner Minshew use these sidelines, or do that. The Rams defense are doing their job in the red zone from the 10. Gardner Minshew throws it out of bounds. 4th and goal. How about we find something in play this time? 4th and goal. Blitz incoming. Doesn't work. The Chargers score a touchdown. But that'll all mean nothing if they don't get this 2-point conversion. Cooper Kupp in trips, and Gardner Minshew goes down. Guess who? Kyle Hamilton. I have never seen a player more clutch than that man right here. Here's the onside kick. It's a bouncing one, but Tutu Atwell recovers. Nothing but clutch performances by the Rams here. 17-15 victory over the Chargers. And I was actually wrong. That was not Kyle Hamilton. It's Marshawn Lattimore, who they just got from the Raiders, who came up with that clutch stop on the 2-point conversion. And because of that, the Rams get to bring the best player from the Chargers over to the other side of LA football. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp. Well, here goes the West Coast again. Welcome to Fantasy Reset Edition, where Russell Wilson is the best quarterback today, but let's go to the Miami Dolphins. And it's a story as old as time for the Miami Dolphins. What is their option? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know I constantly get suggestions about the Dolphins that they should be able to wrap around, but I kind of think what makes Imperialism fun is that you play within the borders that you are currently in. The Miami Dolphins in Florida, feel like they should be attacking in Florida still. still, so they're going to Tampa Bay. Well, I guess this is what happens when Brock Purdy does not have the Avengers by his side to save him. I mean, I'm just looking through this Dolphins team in total. They really didn't have much star players to begin with. They were kind of screwed no matter what. The best star player at Miami was DJ Moore, but he's now going to Tampa Bay, and that will quickly narrow down the Sunshine State to two teams, the Jaguars and Buccaneers. I'm not going to sit here and say the Bucs are stacked because their quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. Here's the Bengals. I think this is another power-up opportunity as the Bengals will go down south. They will unfortunately just miss it, as instead it's going to hit Kentucky instead of West Virginia. But that's going to give the Bengals a solid free agent pickup with Dexter Lawrence. So then we will go to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if the Falcons can get an arrow to South Carolina, then they'll get a power-up, and it's going to be close. And by close, I mean they end up getting it. It goes up to upstate South Carolina through Clemson. That's an expansion for the Double Trouble power-up. The Double Trouble power-up will allow this team to steal 2 players per every successful win rather than 1. Now, the Falcons look like the next big threat, as they'll add Davante Davis at middle linebacker. And I mean, just look at the teams they share borders with. They could easily get a lot of wins and steal a lot of players, but here's the Green Bay Packers. Not too excited to see how my team performs today. I'm pretty sure they're gonna suck as they're going towards the West. And it definitely won't help that your first game on today will be against Patrick Mahomes and the Minnesota Vikings. Division rivals, now even tougher. It's been quite the battle for Jalen Hurts and the Green Bay Packers as they're down by a touchdown to Patrick Mahomes and the Vikings. I think I was low-key hating on this Packers team. They're actually pretty solid. Joe Mixon was that running back. He didn't pick up anything there, but still, that's the first down to Romeo Dobbs, who's staying with the Green Bay Packers. Keep in mind, however, that Patrick Mahomes is going to get the football back. Jalen Hurts back on the end zone, touchdown. No one's even guarding whoever that is. It's Cortland Sutton, the new addition here in Green Bay. He was more open than Waffle House at 3 in the morning, and that's going to tie the game up at 24. So now Mahomes has all the time in the world to respond as he hands it off to Javonte Williams, bounces out to the outside, and he's going to pick up around 5 yards for 3rd and 3. And another handoff to Javonte Williams. It's going to get stopped for 4th down and 2. Why are they running the football so much? You have Mahomes at quarterback. And after 3 straight runs, they go 3 and out, and they're going to punt the football away to Green Bay. Jalen Hurts has a chance to win the game in regulation. The Packers are lucky to have all these options because none of them got redrafted to a new team. Jalen Hurts throws an interception at midfield. The Vikings will take back over. And it's the Vikings defensive pickup for this episode, L'Jarius Sneed. And when all hope was lost, all hope was re-given. Mahomes from the 39, he only needs like 15 yards, and he's got it right there. First down to the 22 to DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, at the bare minimum, the Packers did come up with a stop. They'll leave some time left on the board, but the Vikings are still going to take the lead 27-24 after this kick. Never mind, I don't even want to show you Jalen Hurts' final performance. The Vikings will win this game 27-24. So now the Vikings will add Chris Jones, which means they now have Mahomes, Hopkins, and Chris Jones. That's 3 current Chiefs players, not to mention also L'Jarius Sneed, who also played for Kansas City. And I'm not gonna lie, the Packers actually had a really solid roster today. It's just unfortunate that they share a border with, of course, Patrick Mahomes. So turn number 8 begins with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And just like the Dolphins, the Jaguars have an awful starting position in the top panhandle of Florida, but if they get an arrow closer to the north, they're playing the Falcons, and closer to the south, it's the Buccaneers, in which this arrow will be closer to the north against the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play the Atlanta Falcons. Keep in mind, the Falcons, they win, they steal 2 players. So Bo Nix and the Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to walk into the trap and take over the trap. Stephon Diggs with a catch for 7 yards. Bo Nix with 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, and another completion might be his 4th touchdown for Stephon Diggs, but he just makes it to the 1. Bo Nix wants to pass from the 1-yard line. This better pay off. It will. His 4th touchdown pass of the game. The Jaguars will take a lead in Atlanta. Now here comes Christian McCaffrey and the Falcons, down by 3 points after the Jaguars got a 2-point conversion. And already approaching midfield, Atlanta's trying to burn up as much time as possible while also taking the lead. Janian Daniels escapes the pocket, gets the football off, somehow has a completion to the 36. That was an absolutely goofy animation, but it's a catch for a first down. Here's another first down to the 20. So an interesting situation. 3rd down and 9, the clock is stopped. They need a conversion here, and it's going to be a catch made for 4th and inches. What do they decide to do here? They're going to bring out Younghoe Koo to tie this game at 31, but with 45 seconds left, Bo Nix can easily go down the field. Well, we might just be going to overtime if Bo Nix cannot get some yards here, which he does. Stephon Diggs, who outruns the secondary, completely burns them, and finds his way to the end zone with 9 seconds remaining. And just to think, this game's a different story if they got that first down conversion instead of kicking on 4th down and inches. Well, can the Atlanta Falcons do the same? Jaden Daniels drops back from his own 20. He needs this to have a completion of 80 yards. He did it in real life in a Hail Mary. Can he do it here? And it's knocked up Incomplete. The Jaguars steal it. It's a final score of 38-31. And what a game for Bo Nix with 5 touchdowns, 339 yards, and an 81% completion rate. So now this Jacksonville backfield consists of Christian McCaffrey and Breece Hall. Now there is a new quality of life change I made last episode. Power-ups like double trouble, they don't go the way when the team loses anymore. So instead, the Jaguars take over the Falcons' land, and now they take over the double trouble power-up. So if they win the next game, they get still 2 players. And so that's a quarter of the league eliminated, remaining with 24 teams. I was kind of looking forward to a Falcons run, but I guess I can say the same for the Jaguars. But here's the Seahawks. Usually it's an automatic expansion, but they do share a border with the Niners. I think that's an automatic expansion. So yes, with an arrow going east, this goes through Idaho, which is now going to block the Niners out, meaning they have to play a game against the Rams or Seahawks. Low-key, the Seattle Seahawks could make a run today. AJ Brown now joins the Seahawks from that expansion, but they also already had Mike Evans, and they somehow kept DK Metcalf on top of that. That's the 3rd X-Factor receiver in Seattle. How much help does Dak Prescott need? The Vikings up next, however, have a high chance of an expansion, and I think they'll get it. Matter of fact, they'll get even more than an expansion as they're landing on a power-up in North Dakota. This is Prisoner of War. Prisoner of War will allow this team to borrow a player from the team that they are playing in their next matchup. And of course, on top of that, they're going to get an expansion pickup, one of the best safeties in the game with Jesse Bates. This has got to be one of the most competitive episodes ever. I just think every single team has just stacked. I don't know if I can say the same about the Ravens, however. I think they're better in real life as they're going up north. Well, no questions need to be asked here. Going up north goes straight into Pennsylvania against the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, damn, I was not lying about this Ravens roster. They really don't have anything special. Justin Herbert gets a win 24-3, and just by looking at the Ravens roster, all they really had was Micah Parsons, so it really does make sense. After all, they did lose Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, every single star player they have on their team. Well, I guess I can name one team that's not stacked. Yeah, that's the Ravens. So we've reached turn number 10, where we're going to the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if the Panthers are geared enough to take on the Jaguars, as they're going the completely opposite direction. I guess Carolina can take this as a blessing. They'll take the expansion instead of fighting Jacksonville. And so Carolina will get to add an X factor to their defense in Davante Adams. Yeah, the Jaguars are definitely one team I would not want to play right now, but the Houston Texans are up next. They got the Cowboys to their left, the Saints to their right, and they're going towards the Cowboys to their left. So same story like the Cardinals. The Texans cannot eliminate the Cowboys, but they have a chance to at least take off the Afterlife power-up. Let's see if they can win this first battle of Texas. Well, it comes down to all people. Anthony Richardson and the Houston Texans to lead a touchdown drive. That's a solid start for 10-42. One more play before the 2-minute warning. Anthony Richardson's going to take a sack and lose 8 yards. Can the Cowboys make a defensive stop? It's going to be deflected in the air and intercepted by the Cowboys, and it could be returned for 6 on a pick 6. The Dallas Cowboys take a 2-possession lead. What did I just watch? Eric Kendricks came up with a pick 6, but this one is just batted up in the air. What? Is this the dagger? Oh! A huge touchdown to cut the lead to 5. All they need is an onside kick recovery. What was that? Somehow Jeremy Fairbairn went backwards with that kick? Well, the Battle of Texas goes to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys looking like another true threat, which means Jair Alexander will go from a Texan to a Cowboy. An impressive start for Dallas today. They've already got 2 wins against the Texans and Cardinals and the expansion with the Afterlife power-up. For those who like to keep track of the Imperialism standings at the end of the episode, I think with these 2 wins and expansion, the Cowboys are close to being the first team with 500 Imperialism points, but we'll see towards the end of today. And with 22 teams remaining on turn number 11, let's go to the Buffalo Bills. As always, there can be only one New York team, and I think they'll be attacking somebody in New York. And yes, it's a head-on collision to the New York Giants, which means we're going to MetLife Stadium for this Battle of New York. So the Giants need 3 points to answer back in the second possession of overtime, but they're starting with a flag. Well, that's going to tank their chances a lot. It's holding on the offense. So make it 1st down and 18 for the Giants offense, which this is going to be a handoff, only picking up 2 yards. That goes to Najee Harris. I don't know why we're still running the football. Do they understand that they have to score points? They need to have some urgency here. 3rd and 11. I mean, everywhere is 4th down territory here in overtime. 3rd and 11, and they're going to get a drop. Almost caught for 1st down in stride. So can this Buffalo defense prevent one more stop against Drake May and the New York Giants? 4th down and 11, already in some trouble, but he gets it off, and it's a catch made to the 40 in Buffalo's territory. The Giants just went from losing this game to scoring a touchdown and winning. That's if they can find the end zone as they pick up 9. And all Lamar Jackson can do is sit and watch his defense sell him. To all quarterbacks, Drake May. Looks like offensive holding, but they're not going to call it as Drake May gets outside the pocket, runs to the 3-yard line. Can the Bills make a defensive stop at the goal line? They cannot. The Giants walk it off in a huge upset win against Lamar Jackson and the Buffalo Bills. Final score in overtime, 27-24. And funny enough, Derrick Henry was on the same team as Lamar Jackson again, but now he's going to the New York Giants. I mean, damn. First it was the Ravens getting bounced, now it's Lamar Jackson getting bounced. Ravens fans can't have anything nice. Well, no Bills and no Ravens. This really is anybody's game, including the Washington Commanders. No clue how good this team is, but they'll have have to play somebody as they're trapped in DC. They're going south, and that's clear as day going into Virginia, a matchup against the Carolina Panthers. You know, I'm kind of liking the Panthers' chances. They have Travis Kelce, Kenneth Walker, and at quarterback, Jordan Love. Here's a handoff to Kenneth Walker. It's a 3rd and 15. No way they get the conversion here. It was close, but they're going to be punting the football back to the Commanders. It was a very bad punt, too. It drops to the 34-yard line, giving CJ Stroud and the Commanders great field position. So now the Commanders are pretty solid, too. They have CJ Stroud, Alvin Kamara, and Terry McLaurin, who's still with the Commanders with a catch to the 47 in Panthers territory. Well, I mean, one more of those and you're in field goal range from the 47, under a minute. CJ Stroud, oh, he takes a sack. That's the last thing you want to do there. Let's just see if the Panthers defense can force overtime, and this is going to be a catch made, timeout call to the 48. Can the Panthers force overtime? CJ Stroud, and that is a first down to the 36. They're still running plays. They should just run the football here, and it's going to be a first down and more. Broken coverage, broken tackle, and touchdown Commanders. I mean, maybe, just maybe, they get 10, 20 yards here and call a timeout 1 second. No, he's going for the end zone, so this is the final play of the game, and it's incomplete. The Commanders will win. So CJ Stroud will add a new weapon here in Washington. It's going to be Travis Kelce. And glad to see the Commanders will actually have some breathing room. They're not contained inside the Capitol no more. So I went ahead and recentered some logos, and now we're down to the top 20 teams. Lucky old turn number 13 goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Will we see the Battle of Pennsylvania? A very anticipated matchup? No, we will not. But no complaints for Philadelphia. They'll add a free player with an expansion to New Jersey. And so the Sauce is joining Stephon Gilmore in the Eagles secondary. Next selection will go to the other Pennsylvania team with the Steelers. I guess somebody wants the Battle of Pennsylvania, as they will go up to the Northeast. And sure enough, it's an inevitable matchup. We must play the Battle of Pennsylvania. After all, this state's already up against each other based on the last election results. But let's just see if Sauce Gardner will be enough for the Philadelphia Eagles to get a home victory against the Steelers. Oh no, it's up to Will Levis to get a field goal drive. The game relies on him. He throws a pick six, the very first play. Oh my goodness, this team is way too good to have Will Levis at quarterback. And it's Stephon Gilmore who came with a pick six. Will Levis looks completely dumbfounded out there. Oh my goodness, he did it again. He threw another pick six to Stephon Gilmore again. What is Will Levis doing? I mean, just to think this was a 2-point game not long ago. If the Steelers drafted anybody else at quarterback, I mean anybody, me for goodness sake, they probably would have won. Legacy game for Will Levis, 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions, and that's definitely the difference. So in one single turn, the Eagles have added Sauce Gardner, and now they're going to add Amon-Ra St. Brown to pair up with Nico Collins. We'll call this game a landslide. Go ahead and give 19 electoral votes to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if I ever want to see Will Levis play another snap of football again after that. Let's go back to the Commanders. Could they be matched up with the Eagles as well? I don't think so. Well, you have to love when a deciding factor for an arrow is number of pixels, because the Commanders barely dodged the Bengals. They go through West Virginia. They claim the Juice Power-Up. The Juice Power-Up will upgrade 5 players on their team, up 5 overall. So the 5 best players of the Commanders have been upgraded, except for Travis Kelce because he's already a 99. That includes Terry McLaurin to a 94, Sam Cosby to a 93, Bobby Wagner to a 93, Alvin Kamara to a 91, and Jimmy Ward to an 89. And then for their expansion pickup, it's going to be Quinnen Williams. So many good teams today. I have no clue who's going to come out on top. Here's the Denver Broncos. I imagine they're still living on the high from last episode. What do they do this time? Probably expand. Well, go figure. It's what they do best, but even better, it's going to be another power-up. This time, it's Blitz. The Blitz power-up will allow this team to go twice in a row. It can happen when they are landed on, or if they have a successful defense. But before the Broncos are forced to go again, let's go and give them their player pickup for expansion, which is going to be George Kittle. Alright, so this is still the Broncos going, and this time they are going up north. And here they go again. They're continuing the stat pad expansions, which is going to look really good in the Imperialism standings at the end of this episode. And this time their player pickup for expanding to Nebraska will be Demario Davis. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more stress-free turn for the Denver Broncos. Let's go back to Jacksonville. I'd say the Jaguars are another prominent threat in the East Coast, as they're going directly towards the West Coast, and directly west will run into Alabama, owned by the Tennessee Titans, who we haven't seen since turn number 1, I believe. Let's just see who wins this AFC South matchup with the Jaguars with a double triple power up if they win. Well, sorry to my colorblind audience. I wanted throwbacks versus throwback, but both of them are wearing blue. What just happened? Josh Allen somehow had a completion to his offensive lineman. He fumbled the football, but it's a catch for -2 yards. Josh Allen's going to pass the football again. Hopefully he can go lateral down the field. No, he's going to lose 8 yards and a sack. So 3rd down and 20. If they punt the football from here, you're giving good field positioning to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to make up a lot of yards. It's going to be around 14 yards on the pickup, and they're going to punt the football from the 24. For whatever reason, CMC's not in the game, but it does not matter because Breece Hall, the backup in this case, gets the 1st down. I guess it's possible for Josh Allen to get the football back. Why are they passing on 3rd down and 5? That stops the clock. So now Jacksonville punts the football away. Josh Allen can get a field goal drive with 1 minute remaining remaining in this game. It goes down to the 12. Down to 30 seconds already. Why are we throwing slants at our own 12-yard line? And I thought the Titans' time management was bad. This just ices the cake. Josh Allen, what are we doing? Well, the Jaguars will get it done, which means another X-Factor quarterback will fall short in this video. But the best part about that Jaguars win, they have the double trouble power, which means they get still 2 players, starting with Max Crosby at left end and Keenan Allen at wide receiver number 2. Well, never thought I'd be saying this, but all of a sudden the East Coast has to look out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now it's time for turn number 15. We're going to New England. Could we really see the final power-up already in use? Honestly, probably. Wow, and just like that, every single power-up has already been claimed. This is definitely the fastest that's ever happened. Our final one is clone. Now, the clone power-up will allow this team to spin for an extra land area, which will also double as a second life power-up. Before the clone goes into effect, let's go and give them their expansion pickup, which is going to be Nick Chubb. Kind of clutch that the Jaguars did not need him, considering they already had CMC and Breece Hall. So now for the clone power-up, we have 12 unclaimed states remaining. The Patriots are getting a second land area on the state of Iowa. You know, there's nothing bad with inheriting a new land area, but you're kind of ham-sandwiched between some really good teams. The Vikings above you, the Colts next to you, hell, the Broncos, the CEOs of expanding are right next to you as well. I don't know if they'll do much here in Iowa. But who am I to judge? It's anybody's game today, including the Detroit Lions. Glad to see they make an appearance today, and they will be going south. I mean, it's kind of the only way they can go, and it's going to be a head-on collision with the Cleveland Browns, so we're going to Cleveland. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. That's Baker Mayfield at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He hands the football off. It's a touchdown to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. They'll line up from the 2 this time to go for 2 to make it a 7-point difference. Baker Mayfield in some trouble. That's the Cleveland Baker Mayfield I'm used to. I can't believe this, but who's that quarterback for the Lions? Justin Fields. It's going to be a 3rd down and 7 for Justin Fields. He escapes Nick Bosa, runs for the first down and more past the 30. He gets a block. He might go the distance. He slides at the 4. Lions on 3rd down and goal handoff. DeAndre Swift. Ooh, 4th down and goal upcoming. Do the Browns make a goal line stop? I don't know what they're doing. Are they playing 4-3 on the 1-yard line? What? Anyways, DeAndre Swift has a walk-in touchdown, and the Lions will take a lead late in the 4th. And of course, go for 2 to make it a 3-point game. This time, they will get it. It's 22-19. Mayfield has plenty of time to answer back with at least 3 points. Never mind, he throws an interception on the very first pass. Now the Lions can run out the clock. It's the rookie, too, Terrion Arnold. It's a final score of 25-19. Can't believe Justin Fields is on the winning side of football today. And so the Lions looking to build up some steam now, adding Nick Bosa at left end, which means the Lions will have the weirdest landmass stretching from Upper Peninsula to Northern Ohio. So turn number 16, we're approaching the halfway point of the video, and let's go back to the Indianapolis Colts. Lots of possibilities for the Colts as they will be traveling south, and it doesn't seem they'll make it that far before they hit someone else's territory. We have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, Derek Carr and the Cincinnati Bengals have to go around 70 yards in a touchdown drive, and 2 yards is not going to cut it. Now with 30 seconds left, Derek Carr takes a sack for 4th down and 12, and are not even going to burn their final timeout yet. I'm going to take a bold assumption and say this is the final Bengals play of the game. Derek Carr intercepted. Yeah, final score 27-21. I feel like this man's been passed around like a hacky sack, but he better do something in Indianapolis. Of course, that's Dexter Lawrence. And I like to imagine that the Colts are emerging as the Midwestern favorites in today's video. So let me provide you with a map update as we've reached the halfway mark of today's video with 16 remaining teams. So let's kickstart turn 17 off with the New York Jets. And they will be traveling towards the Northwest, which will again set up another Battle of New York. Can the Giants complete the sweep in MetLife Stadium? Looks like Drake May has some work to do. If the very least wants to send this game to overtime, starts with the first down to the 27. Stops the clock as well. They also have 2 timeouts. Drake May's intercepted at the 27-yard line. Here's a return, and it could be a pick 6 if the offensive line can't catch him. It's a touchdown for the Jets. Well, that puts an abrupt end to that one. The Jets come out on top of the Empire State. And good news for the Jets, they'll find their defensive X-Factor replacement since losing Max Crosby in turn number 1. And from 3-1, New York is narrowed down to the New York Jets. 15 remaining as we are going to the Minnesota Vikings. Their last move was a power-up. This time it's south. And just like I was talking about earlier, it would be no question that the Patriots are going to have a tough matchup here in Iowa with their new clone land, and it's going to be against the Minnesota Vikings. And that's not even the worst part of it. The Vikings with a prisoner of war power-up will steal the best player on the Patriots for this game, which is Tyreek Hill, which means he's reuniting with Patrick Mahomes. So poor Caleb Williams Williams already lost his number 1 target in Tyreek Hill, and it definitely shows there. It's going to make it a 3rd down and 7 for around midfield. Quick pass. This is going to be dropped. It should have been at least 5 yards, but it's 4th and 7. Do they decide to punt the football? They unfortunately will. Good luck trying to stop Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Expecting a handoff to Javonte Williams. No, they're going to pass. It goes to Tyreek Hill, and that's how they're going to win this game. That's got to hurt. The prisoner of war himself, Tyreek Hill, ices this game. The Vikings win 17-14. And it's important to mention that the prisoner of war is also their player still. They can't add another player, so Tyreek Hill is just going to stay in the Vikings. On the plus side for the New England Patriots, they're not fully eliminated yet. They just lose their clone area in Iowa. They're still alive in New England, which means no teams eliminated this turn. We're staying at 15. And the last thing we want to see is Mahomes grow even stronger, as this time we're going to the Denver Broncos. Remember, they're under the effects of the blitz power, which means they have to go twice in a row, starting with this one right here. We'll make that expansion number 3 for Denver, as this time they're going to Utah. And so Derrick Henry has found a new home through the free agent pool. Maybe he can actually stay here for 1 game. So the Broncos are actually pretty stacked, and they're going again. This time it's south. So finally, they don't expand. They have to play the Dallas Cowboys. Interesting dynamic with this game as well. First of all, if the Denver Broncos win, of course, the only thing gone is the afterlife power-up. But if the Dallas Cowboys were to eliminate the Denver Broncos, then they would take over the blitz power-up, which means they would go twice in a row. Let's just see who wins this game. So Tua and the Cowboys need a 70-yard touchdown drive. If they were to hold on to their insurance, Tua already in some trouble, but he gets it off and throws it at the defender's feet. 2nd down and 10. He has plenty of time to throw the football this time, and it pays off to Devontae Smith. 1st down to the 42. New markers of the 42. Another catch made. This is a 1st down into Broncos territory. Clock is ticking. 50 seconds to find the end zone. 4 rush for the Broncos. Another catch. 1st down 24. This wide receiver room is currently carving up the Denver secondary. Point proven. Jefferson takes us to the 9-yard line. We're down to 35 seconds. They decide not to call their timeout. They're going to run a play with 15 seconds. Tua throws a ball in the middle of the field. They burn their final timeout. Under 10 seconds. What does Tua do this time? He scrambles out of the pocket. What is he doing? He gets rid of the football for 4th and goal. This is the final play of the game. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. 3 seconds. Tua well short. What are we looking at? Devontae Smith is tackled in bounds and turnover on downs, which means the Broncos will steal this victory here in Dallas. And so yes, Aaron Rodgers and the Denver Broncos will get it done and take off the afterlife power-up of the Cowboys. Not to mention a vintage game by Rodgers himself with 316 yards and 5 touchdowns. And for their players still, they're adding Justin Jefferson, who's teaming up with Jamarr Chase in Denver. Not to mention the Denver Broncos already have Derrick Henry, George Kittle, and many other good players, and the Cowboys down to 1 life once more. And for our 2nd straight turn, we remain at 15 teams. Nobody has insurance anymore. Alright, so I'm patiently waiting for a team to be eliminated. Will it be the LA Rams? It could definitely happen. They share borders with a lot of tough teams as they go up north. You know, out of all the teams they share a border with, this was the least expected result. They're going to be traveling to Seattle as they go through Idaho. We got an NFC West dogfight here as Dak Prescott and the Seahawks are looking to answer with 6. We have trips right with DK Metcalf and other X-Factor receivers. Dak Prescott going that way. It's going to be just short of the 1st down. Mike Evans on the catch. It's now 3rd and inches, which they're going to pass the football. Interesting decision. Dak Prescott throws it out of bounds. Do they run the football here or do they kick the field goal? The answer is they're going to go for it. At least I hope they run the football, which they do, and they have the 1st down and they have the touchdown to take the lead here in Seattle. Travis Etienne gets the touchdown. Now can they make it a 3-point difference? No, they will not. Never mind. Dak stays on his feet. Oh my goodness, what a play. Russell Wilson has plenty of time to work with, however, against his former team. He starts with a handoff. Kyron Williams to the 45. Going to pass this time, and this is going to be a 1st down pickup to around the 40. Amari Cooper on the reception. They need 40 more yards for a touchdown. Another 1st down. The offense is rolling right now. Now from the 28, Russell Wilson winds up and touchdown the Cooper Cup. Welcome back to the Rams. That was probably the most proficient offensive drive I've seen all day. The question is, did they score too early? A minute and 30-second drill for Dak Prescott and the Seahawks to score a touchdown, starting to Mike Evans for 3rd and 6. That brings us down to 60 seconds where Dak Prescott overthrows DK Metcalf to make a 4th and 6. They have to get the 6 yards here. It's intercepted by the Rams, and this game will be over after 1 1st down. This time, it's Kyle Hamilton making the clutch play. Well, what an episode it has been for the LA Rams as they're 3-0 and they continue to piece up the West Coast. And they'll get the tag along A.J. Brown, which was just one of the 3 X factors in the Seattle Seahawks receiving room. Well, it only took us a couple turns, but we finally have another team eliminated. This time it's the Seattle Seahawks. It's also important to mention that if the Niners get landed on, they have no other choice than to play the Rams in SoFi Stadium. There's 14 remaining teams, just like it's the playoffs, and we're going to the Eagles. And we're about to make it 13 because I don't see the Eagles expanding. They're going towards the Northeast, and that arrow clear as day is going into New York. It's going to be a battle at MetLife against the New York Jets. Justin Herbert and the Eagles are approaching the red zone. The Jets are trying to keep them out of the end zone. It's going to be 3rd and 4, but as long as they don't turn over the football, then we should see an Eagles lead. It's going to be a 1st down. What a run by Ramondre Stevenson. And because of that 1st down, down run. The Jets burned up all their timeouts. This should be a handoff to burn up even more time. It's going to be 4th down and for a field goal kick to take the lead. So Matthew Stafford and the Jets will get the football back with around 30 seconds remaining, down by 3. All it takes is one huge chunk play. We've seen a lot of that in this Madden. Matthew Stafford runs around the pocket. Now he's going to scramble? We've also seen a lot of that. Yeah, game over. Eagles win 20-17. So joining Micah Parsons on defense, TJ Watt. Well, so much for claiming all of New York, and only in football can an Eagle beat a Jet. Turn 22 begins with 13 remaining teams, and back to the Jaguars. It's been a minute since we've last seen the Jaguars, as they're going towards the West, and it seems to me they'll squeeze out an expansion going to Mississippi. And expansions this late in the game are always very helpful, as there's a lot of X factors remaining, including Davante Adams going to Jacksonville. They also now share a border with the Saints, but I don't think anyone's losing any sleep, except for the Saints themselves. Well, just maybe those two teams end up getting matched up, as the Saints are going towards the right. Well, I gotta say, that is the most strategically genius expansion ever by a team. The Jaguars did it on purpose so they can play the Saints at home. I mean, I don't know what's worse for New Orleans, losing 7 games in a row in real life, or losing 49-9 in Imperialism. I mean, after all, Danielle Jones is their quarterback. He did throw a hat trick of interceptions. And then 2 player steals for the Jaguars because of double trouble, Derwin James Jr. And then remember, there was no injury today. That's why Aiden Hutchinson is also playing, as he's going to the Jaguars. You know, it's always very unfortunate when a team has bad wheel luck in Imperialism, because it means they have to wait the entire episode without playing a game, and that just essentially means they miss out on gaining players, getting the experience. Nothing goes right for the Saints here. I mean, to be fair, their roster really wasn't that good anyways. Danielle Jones at quarterback, how many games would they have won? And then there were 12 teams, including the New England Patriots, who in the least offensive way possible, I don't see much of a future for them. They are going south. And you know what? This just might be the biggest land change in Imperialism history. They're going to claim Rhode Island. But you know what? They'll somehow make up for losing Tyreek Hill. They'll add Mike Evans. Not dead yet, I suppose. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are sending their armies towards the north, and that's going to graze through the panhandle of Oklahoma, giving us an expansion. And the best positional upgrade the Cowboys can get out of the free agent pool is Joe Mixon at running back. Not a lot of possible expansions remaining. Let's go back to the red hot Rams. There's a lot of tough matchups on the Rams borders as they're going northwest. Well, interesting, because somehow this matchup ended up becoming a Niners home game. It was inevitable for the Niners, but at least they get it at home against the Rams. Well, all Joe Burrow can do is watch Russell Wilson to see if he can have another game-winning touchdown drive, down by 6 points. A good start to Amari Cooper, cross midfield, breaking tackle, still on his feet to the 41. Timeout call with 1 minute and 4 seconds here in San Francisco. If Russell Wilson can get it done, he would be 4-0 against the West Coast. It's looking pretty good right now too. Cooper Kupp first down to the 30. But time is definitely an issue. Down to 35 seconds remaining. Russell Wilson, plenty of time to throw the football, barely escapes out of the pocket. He's gonna run for it, and he stays in bounds. The Rams have to burn their final timeout. Not ideal. It only picks up 3 yards as well. Russell Wilson has a completion to the 11, but they have to get up quickly to the line. It's looking as this is going to be the final play of the game. It has to be the end zone. 3 seconds on the clock. Russell Wilson almost throws an interception, but game over. Zeros on the board, and the Niners in one single game take over the West Coast. The Rams had an insane run today. I wish it could go longer, but Joe Burrow's run starts right now. And guess who'll be going back to the Bay Area? It's Fred Warner. It would have been amazing to see the Rams go 4-0 against the West Coast, but that's what's amazing about Imperialism, is that everything can change in the matter of seconds. Snapping my fingers, the Niners take control of all the West Coast. One more elimination will bring us to the top 10 as we go to New England. Do they keep on racking up expansions, or will they have to play somebody? Let's see. I mean, I really don't know how it's possible the Patriots got expansions to Rhode Island and Connecticut before they played the Eagles. Talk about stat padding. This is going to look pretty good in the Imperialism leaderboards at the end of today's episode. You know what? I'm not satisfied with one X-Factor receiver. Let's make it 2 with A.J. Brown. All that's left for the Patriots is Maine, and we're finally going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, I kind of feel bad for them. While they've been sitting around doing nothing all day, the Jaguars have been doing the complete opposite and only getting stronger, and they only have one option, and that's to play the Jaguars. Well, at least Trevor Lawrence is putting up a fight. With the Buccaneers, that is. But now the Buccaneers defense on the field, the Jaguars have a first down and 20, make it a second down and 27. Looks like they're trying to stop them from kicking a field goal. And time stops due to an injury as well, definitely not helping the Jaguars. This is going to be 4th and 14, setting up a field goal kick with around 3 minutes. This to make it 24-21 with 3:25 remaining. From around midfield, Trevor Lawrence backs up, another first down. This is going to be close to field goal range. What happened there with the secondary? The Buccaneers will take a lead after a horrible tackling job. Garrett Wilson bounces off the safety safeties like a pinball machine and runs his way to the end zone. That was Derwin James Jr. Gotta get this first down here. Do not want to punt the football. Very risky pass, but it is caught to the 47. What a catch. I think that was Keenan Allen, who is the reason they're still alive right now. Bo Nix fumbles the football, picked up by Tampa Bay. It was all for nothing. The one weak link this team has is a rookie quarterback, and it proves right there. Will the Jaguars get another shot? Passing on 3rd down and 5 is Trevor Lawrence. The offensive line holds up pretty good. He's going to run for it, and he ices the game with his legs and more. Slides down to the 19. Final timeout called for Jacksonville. What an upset here in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence gets it done with the Buccaneers. It makes perfect sense as well because usually Trevor Lawrence is the reason the other team wins in Jacksonville. And what a stunner by these Buccaneers, winning 28-24. And so many good players just hit the free agent pool, but the best one going to Tampa Bay is Christian McCaffrey. And it seemed like Jacksonville had everything going right for them. They had the double trouble. They were racking up easy wins, but it came down to the final sunshine team, the Buccaneers, that take over. And even better of a story, Tampa takes over the double trouble power up as well. And on the conclusion of that upset, we have made it to the final 10 teams, which includes the Niners, Broncos, Cowboys, Vikings, Colts, Lions, Buccaneers, Commanders, Eagles, and Patriots. Some solid surprises here, especially with the Buccaneers. I am not used to seeing their landmass pass Florida. But what's more surprising to me is that the Rams and Jaguars, who had really good runs today, fell short of the top 10. Instead, we have teams like the Commanders making it for the first time. The Lions, Buccaneers, usually these teams don't make it that far. But let's keep it going until we're down to 1. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys' biggest threat is the Denver Broncos, who they already lost to, but they're going towards the east. And based off their logo, going east goes into Louisiana for another matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They already upset the Jaguars. Can they do it again against the Cowboys? Can the Buccaneers do it again? The Cowboys have 1 minute remaining. That could have been intercepted, but we're stopping the clock dead at 60 seconds for 2nd and 10. A touchdown takes the lead for the Cowboys. They need 55 yards. I don't know why Tua wants all of it right here. He avoids the sack just barely, runs for it. Is he going to pick up the first down? Yes, he will. Much more than that. Gets out of bounds to the 22. Just outside the red zone, 2nd and 10, 40 seconds. Tua has plenty of time to throw the football. Only 3 rush for the Buccaneers. He steps up and run, picks up 8, timeout call. 35 seconds remaining. Tua in a little bit of trouble again. He gets the throw off. It's a first down to the 7. The last time we saw the Cowboys in this situation, they failed miserably. Can Tua make up for it? It's a catch at the 1-yard line. Luckily enough, they had one more timeout. This has to be in the end zone or on the sidelines or incomplete. Tua gets it off fast. It's a touchdown for the Cowboys. They take the lead with 23 seconds. And for any given circumstance that T-Law can go down the field and get 3 points, they're going for 2. Wide open. Can the Buccaneers have a successful Hail Mary attempt? And no. It was a valiant effort for the Buccaneers, but the Cowboys will punch their way further to the top 10. The Buccaneers lose 27-24. Well, CMC, I hope you enjoyed the Florida weather for the 3 minutes that you were there. And this result is the Cowboys having land as west as Arizona and as east as Florida. Down to 9 final teams. Let's go to the San Francisco 49ers, who's still in competition today after a clutch win against Los Angeles. They're going east, which will be an expansion to Wyoming. And now we're starting to dismantle the Jacksonville Jaguars roster. Max Crosby's going to the Bay Area. And like I said earlier, late game expansions give you really good players. Here's the Colts. Very, very slim chance we see an expansion out of them as they will head towards the west. While going that direction, we'll land inside Iowa, owned by the Minnesota Vikings. And of course, the prisoner of war will steal 1 player from the Colts before we begin this next matchup. And it's a pretty painful loss for Indianapolis. Myles Garrett will join the Vikings. It's a 6-point difference here in Minnesota. The Colts need to find a touchdown drive. This is a first down catch to the 44. CeeDee Lamb with a catch. Now Kyler Murray's in some trouble. Can he get out of the pocket? He will. His speed is showing, and he picks up around 8 yards on the scramble. He stays in bound, however, so time is still ticking. This is going to be a first down catch to the 38, I believe, Saquon Barkley. I have yet to see Myles Garrett on defense yet for the Vikings, but it looks like it doesn't matter who's on defense. This is a sack, a loss for 6 yards. It brings us to 50 seconds remaining. Kyler Murray, first down catch. They got Saquon Barkley running routes here in Indianapolis. We're down to 25 seconds. This is a first down to Michael Pittman staying with Indianapolis. The Colts call their final timeout the 8-yard line. See, what I don't get is Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa are on the field right now. You can see them right there. But when the play starts, neither of them are on the defensive line. This is going in the Colts' favor. And here comes a sack. This could end the game if the Colts don't get one final playoff. And zeros are on the board. They could not get the snap off. And the Vikings, without Nick Bosa, without Myles Garrett, come up with a defensive stop and will eliminate the Indianapolis Colts. So same story like Tyreek Hill. They get to keep the prisoner of war. Hopefully he'll actually play a snap this time. But other than getting the first overall pick in today's fantasy draft, the Vikings also getting the prisoner of war, definitely the 2 solid factors of why they made it so far today. Now down to 8 final teams. Let's go back to Detroit. They might have to play the Vikings in this situation unless they somehow avoid them. Now I know this might be cherry picking my own rule because I usually don't let teams attack over water unless, in this circumstance, it's over a Great Lake. I let the Lions and Packers attack over Lake Michigan. I'm going to let them attack over what Great Lake this is. That's Lake Erie. Definitely didn't Google search it, but either way, it's going to be a matchup with the Eagles and Lions. It's a low-scoring battle to see if the Eagles can come up with a touchdown to tie this game at 10. That's not a good start. 3rd and 16 after this sack. Justin Herbert going to pass the football. Can he at least gain some yards back? He'll get a first down. The Eagles are staying in business. This is a first down to the 47. I want to say that was Evan Ingram. Now they can run the football, which is another first down to the 40 into Lions territory. Another 3rd and long situation for the Eagles. If they can convert 3rd and 18, maybe they can do the same on 3rd down and 10, which Justin Herbert finds a wide open receiver. This is a first down to the 22. That goes to Amon-Ra St. Brown playing against his Lions, and I don't know what just happened there. Looked like a glitch, but the Eagles come up with a touchdown. I swear I just saw a defender teleport on the field like an Enderman. What? What just happened? Like the flash just kicked in for a second. Well, using quantum time travel physics, the Eagles were able to tie this game up at 10, but they leave 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock for the Lions to answer back. So the Lions have Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, and Justin Fields. All of them have played for the Chicago Bears. I don't know what their strategy was when drafting, but there's Deebo Samuel. You'd think drafting all Bear players would lead to your demise, but the Lions are using reverse psychology on us, I guess. If the Lions get this conversion, this game is over. Swift will be stopped to 4th and 3, and they're going to kick a field goal with a little bit of time left in the clock. But either way, the Lions are going to take a lead with a field goal kick. They'll leave 38 seconds on the clock for Justin Herbert. And in the very first play, I just missed it, but Herbert slinged it down the field. Catch made to the 40 in Lions territory. They're not dead yet. It's about a 50-yard field goal kick from here. They want a few more yards and get out of bounds. Perfect. Do not waste the clock. Do not pull a Madden here. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to take an end zone shot. Oh no, that's in the middle of the field. They better get up and get the field goal unit out right now. And ladies and gentlemen, they just pulled a Madden. They're not going to kick a field goal. Instead, it's intercepted by the Lions, in which this game should have been going to overtime, is going to end, I believe, 19-10 on a pick 6 for the Detroit Lions to move on. Why does Madden not know how to spike the football? I mean, seriously, this has been going on for too long. But Justin Simmons comes up with a pick 6, and we are leaving here in Philadelphia. There might have been better players to give the Lions, but I could not help myself. Amon-Ra St. Brown, welcome back to Detroit. Now the Lions are starting to wrap around the Great Lakes region. They've instantly become a threat, knocking down the Eagles in what I think was an upset. The lucky number 7, which is going to pick up with the Washington Commanders. They are sandwiched between the Cowboys, Lions, and Vikings, and it's going southwest. And going southwest will hit into the Carolinas, which means the Commanders will play the Cowboys in an NFC East matchup, and if they win, they also get to steal the double trouble power-up. It's been an offensive shootout here in Dallas. The Commanders need a first down, 3rd and 7. CJ Stroud, there's the first down to Terry McLaurin, and inside the 5-yard line to the 2. Now from the 1-yard line, handoff to Alvin Kamara, and he is in for 6, 37-31 Commanders lead. The Cowboys have had a proficient drive so far. They've made it to the 10-yard line, in which Tua almost throws an interception. Let's try that again for Tua. This time he's going to take a sack. I don't know what's worse. He loses 7 yards for 3rd and 17. With the amount of time they've burned, settling for 3 probably won't be an option. They pick up 6. It's going to be 4th and 11. And once again, Cowboys' red zone offense seems to be the problem. Could it be why they lose? Turnover on downs, and now the Commanders need 1 first down. Final score 38-31. And for like the 87th time, CMC will be joining a new team. This time it's Washington. And there's about to be a tsunami of burgundy red taking over the entire southeast and southwest, alongside keeping the double trouble power in the Commanders' name. Down the 6 remaining teams, we're going to the New England Patriots. And they have 2 possibilities, so whatever it's closest to. If it's closer to Maine, that's an expansion. If it's close to the Lions, it's against Detroit. This era will land closer to the Detroit Lions, which will give us the Patriots versus Lions winner clinches into the top 5. In the battle of the Bears QBs, the predecessor currently has the lead, but can the OG Justin Fields find a touchdown with 1 minute and 20 seconds? And there's a first down, which is going to get to the 35-yard line to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That desperately hurts, and they don't call a timeout as well, so now 20 seconds, and threading the needle. What a pass by Justin Fields. If only he could have done that in Chicago in real life, and the Lions will take a lead. Guys, be honest with me here. Do y'all think Caleb Williams can move the markers? It's just a calm 4th down and 38 play. Let's see what he does here, and okay. Somehow he got sacked for a gain of 10 yards, but either way, the Lions will steal a victory 28-25. I think this is another player who's been on 100 different teams. That's Nick Chubb going to Detroit. And that will bring us down to the final 5 teams: the Niners, Broncos, Commanders, Vikings, and Lions. And who will kick off the final 5? The San Francisco 49ers. Funny enough, they have an expansion possibility this late in the game, but I'm not sure they'll get it. And from where their logo is, going southwest, it will clip through Utah, giving us a matchup with the Broncos and Niners. Yet another touchdown drive scenario we have. This time it's with the Broncos and Niners. Joe Burrow trails by 5. This is only the second game played between both these teams, so somebody's going to end up 1-1. We have a minute and 16 seconds remaining. Joe Burrow slings it downfield, and first down to the 31. What a catch. It goes to Chris Olave, but now we're down to 50 seconds. Burrow will stay in the middle, and that picks up 2, and that wastes a lot of time. We went from 1 minute to 30 seconds, and we're still throwing quick slants, and there goes the final timeout. So finally a time stoppage for 3rd and 6 with 20 seconds. Burrow is going to escape out of the pocket, throws on the run, and intercepted by the Denver Broncos, who will be making their way in the final 4 teams. And it's again a pick 6. How many pick 6s have I seen today? This is getting outrageous. So that results in the final score of 42-30. Broncos win, and their player still will be Fred Warner at middle linebacker. And so yes, the Niners are eliminated. It brings us down the final 4 teams. However, we're not done with this turn yet. Remember, the blitz power also activates on a successful defense, which means the Broncos have to spin here again. This could be very fortunate or very unfortunate for the Broncos, as they'll go north. Well, the answer to that question is very fortunate. They're going to escape with, once again, another expansion. I mean, the jokes just write themselves. I just can't believe how many times this team expands in one episode. And as a result, they're going to take Sauce Gardner out of the player pool. So now turn 31 begins with these final 4 teams, where we'll go to the Commanders. The Commanders will take their armies towards the northwest, and going anywhere that direction will go into Broncos country, which means another matchup in Denver. Can they make it back-to-back? CJ Stroud and the Commanders need a touchdown against the Denver Broncos. Dead from the 50, catch by Travis Kelce, bulldozing his way to the 11-yard line. At the 2-minute warning, 2nd down and 6, faking the handoff. This goes towards the outside. It's going to be 3rd and 3. It's going to waste some time as well. The Commanders still have to get the end zone. They fake the handoff to Christian McCaffrey. Is CJ Stroud going to run for it? He at least gets the first down. That's actually huge. It's going to burn a lot of time. If I'm the Broncos defense, I might just let him get in the end zone. Passing from the 1-yard line, almost taking a sack. Well, it'd be a different story if they make a goal line stop. Again passing. CJ Stroud scrambles out and tackled at the 1 for 4th and goal. This is what I don't get. You have 3 timeouts and CMC in the backfield, and you pass 4 straight times, and that should have been intercepted, and the Commanders sold big time. And now out comes Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't have to worry about points on the board, just not getting a safety. Obviously not going to happen with this handoff here to Derrick Henry. What were the Commanders doing there? I do not know. They just choked away a final 3 appearance. The Broncos don't even need him, but Travis Kelce's definitely the best pickup here. He's a 99 tight end, so why not? Well, after we watch literally half the country turn orange, we have to talk about this blitz power up again. So once again, that was a successful defense, meaning they have to go again, and I don't think they'll be this fortunate this time. Chances are they'll be the Vikings, but there is expansions possible. We'll just see if it lands on them. But from the current positioning, it means the Detroit Lions have clinched the final game, because it's impossible for the Broncos to get an arrow that way. And the Broncos also have claimed the double trouble power-up, and they're going towards the east. And just like I imagined, the Broncos will not get lucky this time, which means we'll have 2 games played in one single turn. Never happened before. It's the Broncos versus Vikings for the second to last game. Okay, stay with me here. Now we have to do the prisoner of war power-up, which means the Broncos are going to lose their best player to the Vikings for this game, which is going to be Justin Jefferson returning to Minnesota. I know a lot is happening, but let's get this game going. It's a turn 31 doubleheader, and all Patrick Mahomes needs is a field goal drive. Not a good start at all, losing 9 yards to the 21-yard line. That definitely takes their chances a lot. Can they at least get some of it back? No. 3rd and 19. Justin Jefferson, or Tyreek Hill, can't make the catch. I thought this would be light work for Patrick Mahomes, but he's low-key struggling. 3rd and 19. Can they get some of it back? Oh, 4th and inches to the 40. I am very surprised the game did not give them the first down here, but anyways, they get it right there to the 50, past midfield to the 49. All Rodgers can do is sit and watch his defense, hopefully make some clutch stops before the Vikings pick up around 20 more yards. This is Justin Jefferson for 7 more. Or Tyreek Hill. I made the same mistake twice. Passing 2nd down and 3. Mahomes draws back. It's a 1st down. I think this time it's Justin Jefferson to the 30, and the Broncos call a timeout. Now they're going to run the football, and now they can manage the clock all they want as the Broncos are trying to stop it. And so this should be a game-winning kick with 5 seconds remaining on the clock. The kick is up, and the Vikings will lead 23-21. Hail Mary chance for Hail Mary King, Aaron Rodgers. He's going to have the time to throw the football. That's not a Hail Mary, but it is caught. Doesn't matter. The Vikings are moving on to the championship game here in Reset Imperialism. Imperialism. No thanks to #1 overall pick Patrick Mahomes. And for the third time today, the player steal will be the prisoner of war. Justin Jefferson stays with the Vikings for the final game. Well, what a very eventful turn that was. We had 2 games. We knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone. Congratulations to the Broncos for making this far, but also congratulations on history for being the first ever team to win and lose a game in the same turn. And this is what the map looks like with our final 2 teams, the Vikings and Lions, an NFC North throwdown. We only have 4 unclaimed states remaining. I don't think we'll see an expansion for our final game, and not to mention the Vikings are currently holding 3 power-ups. However, they don't really matter other than prisoner of war for this final game. But as always, we reach the final turn for turn 32. The final spin counts a lot. It's the Vikings and Lions, 2 NFC North teams. If you're looking for the Packers logo, it's right behind me. Looking for the Bears logo, nowhere to be found. Who is it going to be land on? Which means more than likely it's going to be the traveling road team, the Detroit Lions. And I highly doubt we'll see an expansion before we play our final game, 100%. So the Vikings will get home field advantage for the final game. One more thing we have to do, of course, the prisoner of war power-up still in effect. They get to take 1 player from the Lions. So the Lions will be without Nick Bosa for the final game, which means both the Bosa brothers are on the Minnesota Vikings. It's only fitting that our final game today will go to overtime, and Justin Fields starts with a dart that's going to the 31 in Vikings territory. Remember, first score does not end the game automatically. The Vikings will get a chance. And the amount of X factors crowding the line on the Vikings defense is surprising. I do not understand how Justin Fields is still alive right now, but he's been playing really good all episode with a catch made to around the 24. I hope Mahomes isn't getting too comfortable on that bench. Here's a cross, and first and goal to the 2. Hand the football off. Oh, Nick Chubb is stuffed and going backwards. Loss of 5 yards. Now you have to pass the football, and if you don't get it, you have to kick a field goal. Justin Fields in some trouble. Gonna run for the end zone. Touchdown Lions. They strike first in overtime. Very resilient drive of the Lions. Let's see if that man right there can respond. Not a great start already. Mahomes goes down for a loss of 10 yards. Are the lights too bright, Patrick? You have Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. You have to find somebody. There you go. Justin Jefferson to the 48. New markers for Mahomes as he floats it downfield. Intercepted by the Lions. Game is over. Why would Patrick Mahomes do that? The Lions will win Reset Imperialism. It's Justin Simmons once again coming up clutch and sealing the deal. Mahomes is looking for way too much there, and now the Lions will take control of the entire United States of America. Game over, 35-28 in overtime. And what an absolute surprise. The Lions, who kind of sat around, patiently waited their turn this entire video with Justin Fields as their quarterback, somehow managed to take down an Avenger-level threat in the Minnesota Vikings, and now we can turn the entire country Honolulu blue. Well, the moral of the story is it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. The Lions did not get called upon a lot in this video, but when they did, they made it count. They won a lot of games late game, they added a lot of good players, and they were able to take down the Minnesota Vikings, the division rival, for the final game to control the entire United States of America. Now, if you made it this far, thank you guys for watching, but I advise you not go yet because now it's time for the updated standings time. One of my favorite parts is updating the stats to the entire history of the Imperialism Series. Let's check it out. So let me remind you of this graphic. In the intro, you probably were saying, what the hell am I looking at? Well, this probably makes sense now. What you're about to see is a collection of all 32 teams and how they placed in this series spanning over 12 episodes, which this was the 12th episode, all in a playlist, which should be linked below, which means you are going to see spoiler warning. So if you want to go back and watch the last episodes, you definitely can, but turns lasted, wins, losses, expansions, and an Imperialism victory are the 5 stats that I keep track of. Now let's take a look at the leaderboards, starting at the very bottom. Now I went ahead and updated the graphics to make it a cleaner look, but one thing stayed the same still, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still being in dead last place in Imperialism history. Even after their run in the top 10 today, they still can't make it past 32, and honestly, point proven of why, because they just don't last that long on the map. 122 turns is the lowest out of any team today, a 7-12-2 record, and 82 Imperialism points in total. We do have a lot of movement on this graphic, a lot of it going down, including the Browns going to 31, the Bears 30, Steelers dropped 5 in total, the Jaguars the only team going up, which is crazy. They only went up 1 because they did pretty solid today. That just shows you how bad some of these teams have been throughout this entire series. But next up is the Jets at 27, and the Saints and Falcons got eliminated pretty early on today, and they dropped down into the final graphic 25-32. Pause if you need to. We've already made this video over 1 hour, so I'm not going to waste your time. Let's go up to 24-17. And this is where you can see some of the teams that did pretty solid today, starting with the Rams, who went up 4 spots, now at 11-13 record with 5 expansions at 188 IP. The Colts will stay at 23. The Cardinals, who lost
lost pretty early on. They're going to drop 6 spots. The Commanders did pretty good up to 21. The Vikings, who finished second place today, just fell short of winning the Imperialism title, again plus 5 spots in the standings. Giants will say the same. The Texans will go down, but the Detroit Lions, who won today, went up 14 spots. They used to be 31st overall before today. They really needed this victory. But even with this win, they still have a negative record. 11 wins, 12 losses, 2 expansions, 183 turns, and now they're up to 233 IP. Now for the top half of the league, starting with 16 through 9, the Buffalo Bills are starting to slowly drop out of it. Now it's 16. They went down 2. The Patriots jumped them, and it's only because they expanded 4 times today with a total of 17 expansions in this series. The Eagles made it pretty far. They're going up 4. The Titans will stay the same. The Chiefs are going down to 12. Seahawks jump them, Raiders go down, and the Panthers make it to 9. They are the highest rated team without an Imperialism win, and as you can see, the Raiders and Seahawks have both won an episode, even with a negative record. And now it's time to introduce our heavy hitters, the same 8 as always. We'll start with the Chargers, who are at 8, then the Packers at 7, the Dolphins at 6, and the Ravens at 5. None of those teams have moved, but we do have one movement. The Bengals dropped to 4, and the Niners dropped to 3. You can see the Bengals the only team in this series that have won 2 episodes. But I want to bring most attention to our first and second place team. The Cowboys still remain at number 1. They have never been under number 1. They've always been number 1 throughout the entire history of me stat tracking. Right now, 523 IP on 293 turns lasted, 24 wins, 13 losses, 14 expansions, and an Imperialism title. However, the gap is getting smaller. It used to be around 75 points, but the Broncos have climbed their way back up, especially with today's performance in 4 expansions. They're now only down by, I believe, 9 IP. So it could definitely happen next episode where we finally see a new team at number 1. And of course, the CEOs of expanding, what I like to call them, it obviously makes sense because they have the most expansions by a mile, 24 in total for the Denver Broncos. So that concludes Reset Imperialism. Thank you guys for watching. I do want to apologize just for the fact that I could not make this a full reset, but once again, Madden has salary caps that I cannot go against in offline play, which is very stupid, and if someone from Madden actually watched this video, I would really appreciate if you can make a change to that in the offline play system. Kind of weird that it exists. But either way, thank you for your patience for this video. It took a minute, and I think it was well worth it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.